Alright, so the Elimination Chamber immediately kicks off with the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. In that one you had Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn versus Cesaro versus King Corbin for the number one contendership for the Universal Championship match, which is going to take place also at the Elimination Chamber. Well, to start off the match, you got Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, two technical wrestlers, put on a good show for the first 5 minutes that they were in there before someone else got entered in.
Corbin ended up coming in third.
Corbin entered the chamber third. Who was the fourth entry?
Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Zayn. Again, I can't stress how much I love what they're doing with him or what he's doing with himself.
Yeah, his character and his gimmick is hilarious.
When they're coming out, he's got that crew that's following him.
Reality.
They follow him crew all the way in there, and then the referee tells the crew that they have to leave, and he's yelling through the pod to the ref, "I paid them to be here. I paid them to be here. What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's yelling at the entire time while she's telling them they got to get out of here. But eventually they leave, and then. Like I said, the rest of the wrestlers come out, but Zayn comes in fourth, and while he's in there, Corbin gets eliminated by Cesaro via submission. I think it was Scorpion Deathlock he put on him after he spun him around.
Also known as the sharpshooter, but I had to point out by you mentioning that of all the people who've done that submission over the years, other than Bret Hart and Sting, he's the one who does it justice by actually sitting down in the position.
Yeah.
So
locking in the legs and making it look like a real lock. There's been some people that's neither here nor there. Anyways, we'll get going. Then Owens comes in, number 5. As soon as Owens comes in, again, Zayn starts bargaining with them. They don't like us. They don't want us in this match. Let's work together, you and I. He's talking to Owens, and he's trying to bargain with them to team up. Great moment there. Like I said, with the history of those two guys put on a show every time they fight, which that's always good stuff to see. Uso enters last. Some highlights throughout the match, man. Kevin Owens cuts a moonsault off the top of a pod. That was a big moment. Zayn gets eliminated by Owens after a pop-up powerbomb. There was a sequence where everybody kind of put a move on everybody, and the ring was getting, getting cleared out. Everybody getting a move put on them and out to the side. Owens hits Zayn with the pop-up powerbomb and eliminates Zayn. And then Owens, there's a moment, I guess it's when Zayn was leaving. They opened the door. Owens ended up being right near the door, and Jey Uso ended up closing the door on his arm and kind of trapping Owens in that elimination chamber where his arm is just wedged in the door, while Uso is just repeatedly
getting about 4 super kicks, 4 or 5 super
while
kicks.
His arm is locked in the door, so he's just taking those shots. And then finally opens the door, gets his arm out, hits him one more time with a sweet chin music, or I should say super kick, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it comes down to the final two being Uso and Daniel Bryan, which let's go back to how we got to that. With all the momentum Cesaro had going into it, Cesaro was probably, I know I picked Daniel Bryan to win, but Cesaro was at least a close second, and to have him get eliminated by Uso, that was a surprise there. But Uso had 2 eliminations?
Huh?
Uso had 2 eliminations?
Yeah, he ended up putting out Owens and Cesaro.
He put on a nice little showing.
Yeah, Uso did.
I honestly thought for a second they were going to go in the direction of Uso winning it.
I kind of thought that maybe they would do that and just to see what happened one more time with them at the end. Maybe like Jay would show up, but like Daniel Bryan won, and another surprise, the championship match was right after. I was thinking it was going to be
Immediately after
I
the
was thinking it was
chamber.
going to be later in the night. Give give the wrestler some time to rest before later in the night, and maybe put up a good match. But it was almost like a Money in the Bank cash in. Like immediately right after that match, Reigns comes out. Obviously, Bryan's been through a long match and beat down.
He
He
Corbin did a little number on his left knee,
Yeah,
left leg, so he could barely stand, like
yeah.
literally barely stand. And like B said, as soon as the match was over with, they raised the chamber, and then you hear Roman Reigns' music hit. He comes out, his slow walk to the ring. He gets in the ring. Hey, Daniel Bryan finally gets to his feet. They ring the bell, and out of nowhere, Daniel Bryan somehow, like I believe Roman Reigns went for a Superman punch, and
No, he went for a spear.
he went for a spear.
Caught him out of that. Caught him in that move out of the spear.
Yeah, Reigns goes for a spear, and Daniel Bryan somehow counters and gets the yes locked in nicely on Reigns. And for a second, you're like, there's no way they're gonna have Reigns tap out immediately. But Reigns, being the beast that he is, he uses his left hand and pulls Daniel Bryan's hands apart, and then he gets on top of Daniel Bryan and just pummels him with just vicious forearms and right hands, just repeatedly, back to back to back.
That's another thing I like about this character with Reigns. He has a point where he just goes like viciously and just like viciously assault. I mean, I'm talking about like just wailing away on somebody. I like that part about his new persona. But as soon as he gets done beating up on Bryan for a little bit, puts
Gives
on
him a
the
nice
guillotine.
little power bomb. Give him a nice little power bomb. Then he goes into the guillotine chokehold, and that's all she wrote. Bryan had already suffered a hellacious Elimination Chamber match, and then to immediately after the Chamber match go into the Universal title match, and he had nothing much left in the gas tank. Roman took advantage of that, and he went ahead and choked him on out, and
Right
Roman
on
Reigns
time.
retains.
When that match is over, right on time, we find out the answer we've been waiting on. Edge shows up, spears Roman Reigns, and pretty much solidifies what we anticipated was going to happen. Roman Reigns versus Edge at WrestleMania for the title. I kind of figured he was going to head towards that once Edge had been playing I'm going to wait till after Chamber, I'm going to wait to make my decision. But after the encounter on SmackDown, once it got physical between those two, in my head, it was like, yeah, this is where this is going to be. So got that answer. We got that question answered with Edge coming out of nowhere with a spear and solidifying his spot on the card against Roman Reigns. So that question was answered.
So come WrestleMania to be the head of the table, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns versus the Rated R Superstar Edge. I'm looking forward to see how that turns out.
Right after that, they go into the U.S. title match, and I remember you telling me about the Keith Lee situation. He hadn't been cleared to wrestle, so late replay on the kickoff show, there was a fatal 4-way between
Elias, John Morrison, Mustafa Ali, and Ricochet.
Those four fought it out just to get the last spot in the triple threat match of the U.S. title, and Morrison ended up winning that, thus replacing Keith Lee. So it was Morrison versus Lashley versus Riddle.
And a no disqualification, no count out.
Yeah,
that was the kicker. Like, hadn't heard anything about that until today.
Yeah, and that was
overall, I felt it was a decent match.
Yeah,
Lashley dominated most of the match.
He did, man. They've done a slow burn with him, and it's starting to pay off. Like, he is just tearing through everybody, which is great for Lashley. Like, he belongs in the upper echelon of the WWE title picture. Him dropping the U.S. title was kind of a they've done it before. You drop a title or lose a match early in the night, and then we'll get to that point. I'm getting ahead of myself, but anyways, Riddle during the match, Lashley gets the hold on Morrison, gets the full Nelson on Morrison, and Riddle gets MVP's crutch that he tried to give to Lashley. Actually, no, did he? I don't even know if he tried to give it to Lashley.
Eventually, Riddle and Morrison ended up teaming up and finally being able to beat down Lashley. And then, of course, Lashley makes his triumphant comeback, clears the ring out again. Morrison somehow gets into a verbal altercation with MVP on the outside, takes his crutch from him. Then he slides back in the ring, and just before Morrison gets to use the crutch, Lashley locks the Hurt Lock in on him. And as you think Morrison is either about to pass out or tap out, Riddle slides in the ring and grabs that crutch off the mat, and he gives Lashley a good 3 or 4 hits nicely across the ribs from across his back. And in pain, Lashley gets out of the ring, and he's dealing with that, trying to catch his breath and whatnot. And Riddle sees his opportunity to take advantage of Morrison and hits his finishing maneuver on him. And 1, 2, 3, Riddle's the new U.S. title champ.
Yeah, long time coming. Well, not say long time coming for Riddle, but it just seemed like he was destined to end up with that title at some point.
He was on a Lana situation, the same way Lana was getting put to a table every week by Nia Jax. Every week for about the past maybe month or so, Riddle's been getting choked out by Lashley. So, I mean, plus he's got a lot of momentum and a lot of good things going with the fans. So it was time for him to get a singles title, and this is where it should start with him as the U.S. title.
So Riddle wins the title there, and then from that point we go into the women's tag title match. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair trying to get the titles away from Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. A lot of some feats of strength in this one. Belair put on, yet another show. She's just so athletic, so strong. So many things she can do inside the ring. Match went on, like a pretty good match.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's probably a few wrestling fans who feel the same way, but I'm borderline starting to hate watching any match with Nia Jax in it.
It's tough. I mean, between the occasional, or often I can say occasional, but it's almost seems like it's always someone getting hurt with her matches. But she's I don't know. I just don't know how to go with her. But during the match, I'm not sure what Reginald's role is. Like, has he dumped
Carmella? I'm not sure what's going on with this guy.
Because before the ladies match, the women's match, in the back, Reginald was back there praising Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, talking about he's gonna get the champagne ready. And then on SmackDown, he helped them team together. I hadn't seen Carmella at all around, but anyways, Reginald comes down during the match, champagne bottle in one hand, champagne glass in another. There's a moment where referee's not looking. He looks at his hand. He's like, "Yo," slides in the bottle to Sasha. "Hey, Sasha, there you go." She's like, "Yo, we're not about to, do it like this way. We don't need to do it this way. We're not cheating." A lot of, distraction here. A moment of losing focus. Forget who pinned who. Well, no, Jax. Jax ended up hitting the Samoan drop on Banks. Jax ended up hitting the Samoan drop on her after the Reginald bottle handoff botch. But after that, Jax and Baszler ended up retaining the belts, and Bianca and Banks are arguing, yelling at Reginald why he came down to help. Like I said, we'll see how that angle plays out, and Bianca still has to make her decision, which I ultimately think that decision is probably going to be Banks. I think that makes for a better match, those two, and I think and then we'll see what goes on with Asuka. But Asuka didn't have her match tonight
No.
because we knew what the situation was with that with Lacey Evans actually in real life being pregnant. She is pulled from that match. We thought they may put someone else in the match, but they just ended up scrapping the match altogether.
Wouldn't be surprised if something goes on tomorrow night on Raw.
We'll see what plays out with Asuka, but Bel-Air and Banks lost their tag team opportunity, so like I said, I'm thinking Bel-Air is going to go after Banks, but we'll see how that plays out. Here's an interesting part. After this match in the back, MVP is seen talking to Miz, and they're far away. You can't tell. They're far away. You can't tell what they're saying, but you just see him in Miz's ear talking, and Miz is nodding his head, and he ends up grabbing the briefcase, like just grabbing it, like, right, I'll be ready, kind of thing. Just by looking at it, like I said, they were far away. You couldn't tell what they said, but just by looking at it, it looks like they had come to, he was talking to him, like maybe come to a deal or something like that. So I kind of knew later in the show something was gonna happen with that briefcase. That was a big moment when they cut back there and you saw MVP in Miz's ear talking. And like I said, we'll get to that, how that played out in a second.
We'll go right into the Raw Elimination Chamber match for the WWE title, where you got Drew McIntyre, the champion, going against Sheamus, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, and Kofi Kingston.
That match, it was interesting. Anybody who has seen these Elimination Chambers knows the history of what has happened in these, and anyone remembers when, I forget what year it was, but Kofi comes out and he gets attacked and gets taken out of the chamber match. And ever since then, when Kofi's in a chamber match, he comes out and he looks behind him. What happens this time? He again is walking out and he stops and looks behind him, like someone is coming, like watching his back, going in, because once it happened to him once, it's like it's not going to happen to me ever again, because you've seen it. Hey, you've seen it every time he's come out ever since that one time he got taken out. He's always looked behind him.
Yeah.
And I thought, for a minute there, I kind of thought somebody else was going to get attacked and get taken out. But I thought with him looking back behind him, no one came immediately. But I kind of thought when he turned and went up there, like someone would pop out. But no, that didn't happen. He entered into the chamber and got in his pod. Orton and Jeff Hardy ended up starting out the match. But I thought it was a surprise that McIntyre came in third, but he comes in third, so he has to endure pretty much about the whole match almost too, but besides the first part of it, because he comes in third. But big surprise to me was Orton getting eliminated by Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston comes in fourth. He came in like McIntyre comes in third and Kofi comes in fourth. Orton got eliminated by Kofi Kingston. So as soon as he gets eliminated, there goes my prediction of the Fiend showing up. Mm-hmm. I guess you could save that. You need something to save for Raw, to put something on Raw, to have something to I'm pretty sure they've got to start that angle starting tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
You can't wait too much longer to going into WrestleMania. You want you might can go a couple more weeks because they got such a deep history. Like it won't take super long to remember why these two hate each other, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but
maybe you can go one more. If not, I don't know how Fastlane's gonna pay out, but you would think they want to get on that angle as soon as possible. But as soon as Orton is eliminated, and the door's open, I'm not sure why AJ's pod door, they didn't open his pod door, But Omos comes over there and rips off the outside part, the plexiglass part, so AJ can get out of the pod, and ends up going out of the pod, out the other way of the chamber. So he's outside the chamber, walks around, and then comes in while the door is open. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure why his door. I guess they had to show the moment of Omos ripping off the it was plexiglass and he ripped it off. I guess they had to show that, but Omos rips off the plexiglass outside part of the chamber there, and AJ goes in there, and he comes in at number 5. And then, like I said, the match is going on. Good match, a lot of high spots. Kofi put on a pretty good show. Ultimately, he is eliminated by Sheamus. And then it's down to Sheamus, Hardy, and McIntyre. No, Sheamus, Hardy, McIntyre, and Styles. I'm sorry. Hardy then is eliminated by McIntyre, and leaving the 3 of McIntyre, Sheamus, and Styles, with Sheamus gets eliminated by Styles. Styles put on a pretty good show, I thought. He's always putting on a good show.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Bottom line.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Styles. But he eliminates Sheamus, so now you're down to just the 2 of McIntyre and Styles. Styles goes for a phenomenal forearm and gets hit with a Claymore kick.
Yeah, that was sweet.
That's a big move by McIntyre.
I typically hate the Claymore because
really,
I'm not a big fan of the Claymore. I mean, he's taking most of the impact, especially on his lower back, as he impacts with the ground.
Foot coming in. It's like the bro kick.
But the bro kick, you're not taking that much impact. I mean, look at McIntyre.
You're just saying because he's leaving his feet.
Yeah, he's such a big dude.
I like the Claymore over the bro kick. Because you're sitting in like everything, like you're just flying and sitting in everything. The bro kick, like there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong with the bro kick that'll mess you up worse than like, you come down wrong on that leg. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, McIntyre hits Styles with the Claymore kick as he's jumping in the air, trying to deliver the phenomenal forearm. McIntyre retains, and this is where it got interesting. The cage is the chamber is starting to rise up. McIntyre's out there relishing in the moment, and out of nowhere, Bobby Lashley comes out with a vicious attack. I mean, he jumps on him pretty good, takes him to the table. I mean, he's laying next to the table. He's just ramming his head up against the table. So he gave him a pretty good beat down. And then the moment where you knew something was going, or you could tell something was going to happen, but Lashley stood back and looked at the entrance, and then bam, Miz's music plays. So that's where you knew that segment where MVP was in the back with Miz talking to him, there was some kind of deal made. Now they'll go into that deal. Obviously they'll go into that deal tomorrow. But anyways, he jumped McIntyre. McIntyre beat down, barely able to stand. Miz comes out. Regular classic Money in the Bank cash in moment. You wait till someone can't stand, barely moving, and then you want to do it. He comes out, cashes in just like anyone else would on a beatdown champion, and he successfully cashes in and wins the title. So after tonight, Miz is your new world Universal Champion. Not the Universal Champion. I'm sorry, the World Champion. Like I say, it'd be interesting to see what deal was made with MVP and Miz, and what route they're going to take heading into WrestleMania. At this point, early WrestleMania booking, is Miz going to be in the main event of WrestleMania at this point? Like, you don't see him.
I don't see that.
You just see him. So what, you see him dropping it at Fastlane?
Yeah.
To who?
I'm not sure, but I just don't see.
We'll get a lot of answers by tomorrow as to when they make that Fastlane. We'll get a lot more answers going about what the main event for Raw will be, because right now it is truly up in the air. Like, if they stick with what they got now, like, who do you see being in the title match at WrestleMania?
I don't know, but I for surely enough don't want to see Miz versus Lashley.
Like at WrestleMania, it's about the match that'll put asses in the seat, so to speak. A big draw. That to me doesn't have a lot to it. Not not a knock on Lashley, not a knock on Miz. They are great, both of them great. But as far as a marquee big time match that you want to see at WrestleMania, those two names don't necessarily pop off the charts to me. Now something like a Brock and a Lashley would be a battle of some titans on that one there. But like I said,
McIntyre versus Lashley would be nice. It'd be better than Miz and Lashley.
we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, the Miz. I mean, he checks all the boxes for a champion. Like carries himself good. Like he
His promos are amazing.
Promos are next second to none. He does good on promos. In ring, he is anybody who's been watching wrestling from saw Miz from the beginning till now would definitely he has definitely put in work. Like Miz,
no major injuries.
you know how we feel about outside people coming into the sport. Like Miz was one of those. He was under that label coming in as an outsider coming into wrestling, not knowing how he was going to do. Miz put in the work, man. He's put in the work and become a great wrestler from the beginning. From when he first started.
Yeah.
So him being, this is his second title reign, second world title reign.
Is he only second?
Yeah, which is surprising. Like I never have really liked the big gap they had for the Miz on those title reigns, because that other one was back in 2010, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's 11 years, in 11 years later he's back at it. So it goes to show you how sticking with it, like it's just 11 years later he's back on top. So at the end of this program, at the end of this pay-per-view, Miz is your new world champion. Like I said, it'll be tomorrow. Gonna be a lot of questions. We had a lot of questions answered tonight, but a lot more new questions going forward to WrestleMania. Be interested to see how they play it tomorrow night on Raw. So look forward to that. Look forward to that Raw review to see what happens, what comes out of that.
So that's the 2021 WWE Elimination Chamber recap. 5 matches, 4 of them were title matches. 2 titles changed hands. That was the U.S. title going to Ridley, and then the WWE title going to Miz for cashing in. Daniel Bryan won the number 1 contender match. He went on to face Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns retained his Universal title. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler retained their women's tag titles. So, Asuka didn't get to have her match. We'll see what goes on with that tomorrow night. I'm pretty sure they're going to throw Charlotte in the mix, or I don't know. I'm just waiting to see what they do with that, because I'm honestly kind of getting tired of seeing Asuka with the title. Nothing exciting is going on.
I think was me and you talking. We were like, I think it'd be kind of cool to see Becky Lynch come back, because she was the one that handed it off to Asuka.
Yeah,
it's like it'd be kind of cool. I don't know if she's where she is as far as returning back to the ring, but you got to figure she's due to come back into the picture. They should have a lot of returns get ready to come up heading into WrestleMania. Like I said, it's gonna be a fun ride. The road to WrestleMania. We're gonna get a lot of questions answered tomorrow night, and then like I say, because Fastlane's coming up, it's on March 21st. So after that one, like you have to have pretty much your plan set in place, what you want for WrestleMania. I know things can happen before then, but your main, like you've already got the world title, universal title match set. That was also confirmed. We already knew it would be once Edge jumped on Roman Reigns, but while the show was going on, they confirmed that match will take place at WrestleMania. But like I said, we'll get some more answers tomorrow night on Raw as far as going to the road to WrestleMania.
All right, that's the wrap up for the Elimination Chamber. Any comments, questions, or topics I want us to talk about or anything, get at us at Gmail, dj1sboys@gmail.com. Look us up on Facebook, DJ1sboys, or get at us on Twitter at DJ1s, and we'll take a look, respond. maybe even talk about what you suggested.
Yeah, love to hear from you guys, man. Something we could talk about, something you guys want us to talk about.
So that's that. This is the J1S boy signing off. Your man D Jones, aka Mr. February.
And I'm Brian, aka Captain Elite, aka D Elite. Y'all be safe. We out.